Previously on Kenshi, Tale of the Blade. With a band of tech hunters, cat and dog strode east throughout the Cannibal Plains towards a location of legend. Further earning the respect of the hunters, cat and dog cut through swaths of cannibals that foolishly attempted to impede their progress. Traveling throughout the night, the gates were finally in sight. The band went their own way, and Cat was left to explore the world's end. A tech hunter city, sitting high above the mountains, masquerading as a place with sympathies for the holy nation. They study what came before, trying to learn from the past. Cat learned what he could from the scholars that called this place home. But just like everywhere Cat had been, this place wouldn't be home either. So after equipping himself with a fresh set of armor, he sets his sights eastward to the great desert beyond, as the blade continues to influence and guide him onwards. With the sun slowly setting, Cat and dog will be setting off. The duo were no strangers to traveling in the night. The pathways stretching down the arm of Okran wouldn't be as busy either. And as they left, Cat was already feeling lighter. The many eyes of avarice tech hunters were weighing heavily upon him. The open road cared not who you were, where you were coming from, or what you were carrying with you, unless of course you were carrying something worth killing over. And while Cat had something very much like that in his possession, he was just as ready to kill for it. Now on the eastern section of the Arm of Rycon, Cat and dog could make out a new section of the northern coast, yet unseen to them, and stretching out into the distance, a peninsula known as the Dark Finger. It had become a location of interest to Cat after learning very little about it here. Directly to the east, in a great area known as Bast, a conflict was occurring, a great battle between the United Cities and the Holy Nation. It was there, many years ago, that a caravan with a young cat fell under attack. And while Cat does intend to return there, the dual peninsulas of Darkfinger and Sinkun beckon first. And what's this? Trouble on the road. What a surprise. Hungry bandits after the food, the provisions that both Cat and dog carry with them. Provisions they need to make it to their destination. And so, what is done is done. An act that once would have given Cat pause has now become so much easier. The blade flowing, seeking out flesh and bone. The justifications so easy to find. But that was Cat's first fight in his new equipment, minus his helmet. The armor, while certainly heavier, doesn't stop him from swinging that blade with deadly skill. A word of warning to all that would attempt to stop these weary wanderers. Before long, a familiar sight sat to the west of Cat and dog, the small fishing village of Dead Cat. At that point, the village was the furthest north and east that Cat had traveled. Now it was time to break that record. As dawn begins to sweep the horizon, we see what awaits him. A peninsula, to be sure, but a desolate one. Very little life can be seen, but from experience, it's always difficult to make it out at this kind of distance. Once he gets closer, the Dark Finger may have a very different story. And Cat didn't exactly have a normal path in mind. The water beckoned, a chance to escape the early morning heat, but quite a swim, especially in his armor as heavy as it is. Well, it's just another chance to test himself, to improve, to strengthen those muscles and harden his will. Hours passed, and now the shore is finally in sight. Tired, yet not exhausted, Cat and dog make landfall and continue that journey northwards. After snacking on a ration pack, they'd stumbled upon what seemed to be an old path, barely visible from the ground. but one that led to a camp. Spikes, a roaring fire, and a pit with meat, an all too familiar sight. This campsite no doubt belonged to cannibals, and so too did this peninsula. Quickly striking one down, the area was silent. Just one? Where were the others? Well, that wasn't Kat's problem. Not now. Yet the notion that this place had fallen to cannibalism too didn't sit well with Kat. How much of the world was lost to it, a craving for flesh? How long would it be before the hungry bandits turned to the foul practice? The dark thoughts were chased away by a subtle beauty. The trees of Darkfinger reached towards the sky like flickering flames, unique to this part of the world, and quite a sight to behold. That sight would not hold them long, as in the distance, a hillside starts to move. A great number of people scurry across its surface like ants. At this distance, it's too hard to tell what their intentions may be, but their path is in line with that of cat and dog. But now closer, it's all too easy to tell. The markings, the paint. Cannibals. Rushing over the hill, they greet cat and dog, clubs at the ready. After painting the hillside red, cat and dog come out on top. Barely scathed, the cannibals never stood a chance. With their numbers so large, Cat knew that the camp that they'd seen earlier wouldn't sustain them. No, there had to be something larger nearby, and it wouldn't take them long to find it. A town belonging to the Broken Fingers, cannibalistic tribe that called this peninsula their home. With the scent of blood on the air, Dog sprinted ahead, with Cat close behind. The numbers here were far smaller, and they were clearly unprepared for an attack. Who would dare challenge cannibals this far out anyhow? Not the Holy Nation, not the United Cities. No, they had their own battles to contend with. Cannibal hunters, maybe, but none so fierce as cats. And just like that, another group, another tribe silenced. The screams of their victims would be heard no more. That journal, the harrowing story read to Cat, still echoed in his mind. He was no monster, was he? Ridding the world of their evil. The blade in his hand reassures him everything's fine. A hero, you are. The smell of blood and death on the air seemed to draw others that would quickly fall to the duo. Even Dog now possessed a might the cannibals could not rival. Before long, all would be silent again. Yet strangely enough, some fighting continued nearby. Fighting that Cat and Dog would interrupt, of course. Yet these clans seemed to be fighting among themselves. They were not united, as Cat once thought, but just like their brothers and sisters, they too would fall. The back of the camp, there was activity. One cannibal that had been missed. She was collecting prisoners, darting between the cages, dodging Dog. She was swift, better protected than the others, and quite possibly a local leader. Cat gave chase, yet she continued to dodge and weave, leaving the duo behind, running backwards and forwards, carting bodies to Spike and Cage. Finally, an opportunity. Yet another missed strike. Perhaps now. Finally, one swift bite. The chase is over. The fight won, and the last of these cannibals snuffed out. Inside the shack, Cat found countless pieces of equipment, armor and weapons, collected over the decades, all stained with blood. They had done all they could here. They must continue along the finger. The sun was now getting lower. Cat and Dog hadn't slept in a day, yet he was determined to reach that coast before nightfall. Cat had hoped for great secrets, great ruins of lost civilizations, yet all he could find were the hills alive with scrawny cannibals. Vastly outnumbered, and with blade in hand, and helm stashed away, Cat would stand his ground, knowing, of course, that should he fall, should he fail, he and Dog would be dinner tonight. Failure was not an option. A writhing mess, a heap of bodies, that's all that remained. A gentle rain was a welcome touch. It would wash away the red-stained armor of Cat and the fur of Dog, and with the last of the light, Cat had achieved his goal. The coast was in sight, but so too was yet another village of cannibals. Any remnant of civilization that this peninsula once held was washed away generations ago. All that remained now was blood and death. The fight for survival, an event far too common for Cat and Dog. And all those fights were finally starting to catch up with them. Dog falls, yet Cat fights on, a demon possessed by the blade, unrelenting, unforgiving. The bodies continue to fall. Just like Cat, Dog doesn't know when to give up. Rising back up, the duo would see this fight out together. These particular cannibals hailed from the Meat Lord's horde, and so we might imagine that somewhere amongst this mound of dead, that Meat Lord lay still. Oh, well, in actuality, the Meat Lord has yet to show himself. Protected by a number of cannibal chiefs, the Meat Lord rests. We can't have that now, can we? And so Cat and Dog approach, issuing their challenge. The chief rises, screaming for his meat men. The mammoth of a man strikes first at Dog before Cat brings his blade to bay. The fight is over quick. The feared leader, now put in place by Cat, he still lives. Yet how long will he here by himself, surrounded by the corpses of his kin? There were no tales from victims here, the meat men consuming them long before they'd have a chance to leave any record of their suffering. Well, in Cat's mind, that suffering stops here. It stops now. Cat and Dog would not rest yet. The survivors would be put down. Then, and only then, Cat would finally let them rest. And so it is with that, our window into the world of Kenshi and into the tale of the blade will come to a close this day. As the world turns, the influence the blade exerts over our hero grows. For now, it is a friend, and we can only hope it'll stay that way. And so, Legionnaires, I ask you all, if you enjoyed today's episode, please consider leaving a comment or a like to let me know if you enjoyed the show. As for now, I have been Rycon. You have all been awesome. And until next time, stay tuned.